At Buttonwood Property Management, we think it's important for real estate investors and tenants in the Greater Toronto Area to be informed. For property investors in particular, it's important to follow the industry's best practices to increase your returns and avoid headaches. Today, I'm going to take you through our 11-step guide to renting your own investment property. Before we get started, something to think about for those of you who will be renting out a property that first functioned as your home. Be aware that you might find lots of conflicting emotions about entrusting your past home to a tenant. Homes carry a lot of emotional weight. But as soon as you decide you're going to rent this property, make the switch in your head to that of a property investor. This is your investment, and you need to think like an investor. It goes without saying that if you're getting into the real estate rental business, you need to familiarize yourself with Ontario rules, regulations, and guidelines set forth by the Residential Tenancy Act and Landlord-Tenant Board so that you know you're operating within the guidelines of the governing bodies. No need to be an expert, but no excuse not to know the rules that govern things like fire code and what constitutes discriminatory rental practices. Here's Buttonwood's 11-step guide to renting your own property. Step 1. The property inspection. Start off by inspecting the property so that you are aware of the scope of the work required to make it rental ready. This is the time to test appliances, electrical and plumbing for any issues. Cosmetic upgrades happen now too, like cleaning or replacing carpet, painting, and getting all general handiwork done. Be sure to work with certified professionals to ensure a quality job gets done on the first go. Step 2. Photographing your property. If this is a luxury property, you may want to consider professional staging prior to a photo shoot, but generally, a good deep clean and a sunny day are all you need to prepare. Use an 18mm lens on your camera. Using a fisheye lens will make the space look bigger than it is, and this will only turn off would-be tenants when they see the space in person. Step 3. Assessing fair rental value. Setting the monthly rental amount for your property is key to finding a tenant quickly. To set the rent, you need to do your research. Look at comparable properties in your area that are currently listed or were recently on the rental market. MLS, Kijiji, Craigslist, and Viewit.ca are your go-to resources for this. Be sure to use current or recent data as the rental market can swing quickly and is affected by seasonal trends. To rent the unit quickly, price it right from the get-go. Having to drop the price after a month without interest is a costly proposition. Step 4. Writing the rental ad. Keep your prospective tenant in mind as you write and try to remain objective. Flowery writing in a rental ad won't win you any awards. List not just the nice features a tenant would appreciate in the home or condo itself, but also describe the greater community and its amenities. Include a walk score, school ratings, access to major highways, etc., so a prospective tenant can imagine themselves in their day-to-day life in this property. Remember, you're selling the idea of a home, a lifestyle, and a community. Step 5. Listing your property. When you're listing your ad, keep your prospective tenant in mind as you choose where to list. If your property's in a hip downtown area, listings through Craigslist or Kijiji may be enough, but for a family home in the suburbs, consider MLS. It can be time-consuming to set up accounts with various listing services, pay fees where required, and upload your photos. But at the end of the day, you need to ensure your audience is seeing your ad. Don't just wait around for candidates to call. Keep up the market research. Are comparable properties renting before yours? If so, what sets theirs apart? What questions and reactions are you getting from candidates on the phone? Use this information to improve your ad. If the property is currently tenanted, be sure the current tenant is on board and cooperative with your efforts to find a new one. Step 6. Following up with leads. Prompt answers to interest in your property is key. Return emails and phone calls and arrange for showings as quickly as you can. Know that candidates are providing you with loads of information in conversation and through their rental applications. A few tells that might give you pause. Were they late for the showing appointment? Were their applications submitted with missing information? These details might inform what the rest of your relationship will look like, should you choose them as tenants. Step 7. Credit, reference, and rental history checks, and employment verification. This is an absolutely crucial step. You must verify the information your candidate has given you. Be thorough. Be sure to place those reference calls. Have the credit report certified. Step 8. Preparing your lease for signature. Once you've found your ideal tenant, it's time to draw up and sign your lease agreement with them. There are many boilerplate leases available online that you can download for personal use. If you're using a boilerplate, be sure to add any details you feel need to be spelled out. Some standard issue leases come with additional provisions that you can opt in or out of. Be sure to read these through in case they apply to you and your property. Step 9. Payment of first and last month's rent. In Ontario, first and last month's rent is standard payment to the landlord prior to moving in. It's preferable to receive certified checks for both, but at a minimum, get a certified check for last month's rent. While not enforceable, request post-dated checks for the term of your lease. It's a good psychological commitment for your tenant to make. Step 10. Verify insurance coverage. Many don't think to ask, let alone verify, but ensuring the tenant has tenant insurance is crucial. You, as the property owner, also need to ensure you have an adequate landlord policy. Be sure coverage is in place for all parties by the move-in date. Step 11. Move-in inspection and key handover. The easiest way to do this is to take pictures or to video your walkthrough with your new tenant. Document any issues you may encounter in your walkthrough. Don't forget to verify the expiry date and test your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors. If batteries are required, make sure you install new ones prior to the move-in date and agree on who is going to do the yearly ongoing tests and battery changes after that. Congratulations! You've rented your property. You're a landlord and your tenant has a new home. Be sure to nurture your relationship with your tenant, and best of luck!